Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy James from What's Your Forte, and today I'm gonna be talking to you guys about the brand new G90 M5. All right, let's get to it. All right, so I just watched Carwow's video on the G90 M5, the render that they did. Definitely go check out Carwow's channel. I'll be using some of their clips in this video. Definitely go support them. They do a lot of drag racing videos, and they do a really good job over there just doing content. So definitely go support them. But let's talk about this M5. So they did a full render on the M5 that they did, and what they think it should look like based on everything they've seen, based on the spy shots, based on everything else that's out there, right? So I watched the video, I just watched it, so I want to give you guys my fresh impressions of it, because I am somebody that creates M5 content in space, so I feel like I should have a comment, I should say something about it. So that's what we're doing right now. So first impressions of me seeing it, I was like, man, this actually don't look that bad. I kind of like the headlights of the LCI F90 a little better. I think it just gives more aggression. These two little lines that just go like this that they have on the even on the X5M, X6M. I don't know if I like that. I kind of like the lights we have now, the kind of swoop. I think it's just more aggression. These two little lines, I think it can get lost in the sauce with everything else going on the front end. So yeah, I'm kind of about that. But everything else, like the front end with the chin, it doesn't get the big grill. So I know a lot of people are happy about that. I don't know if I like this little cutout that they got in the grills. What's going on with that? Like, just give us a regular grill. Like, it's still a forced induction engine, even though it has hybrid technology in it. Just give us a regular grill. I don't know what's going on with that. But everything else on the car looks really good. The hood is even aggressive. They gave us an aggressive hood, which I like. I think one of the downfalls of the current M5 is that the hood is just boring. There's nothing going on with the hood at all, unless you get the CS, or if you buy a CS hood like I did. The hoods is just boring and doesn't add any aggression to the car. And I know, like, one thing my people say, my M5 just looks totally different, and it's because of the hood. I think the hood just adds more aggression, lets you know that this car is serious. And they just didn't do that with the current gen F90. But at least on this render, they did a real good job of just making it aggressive. Give us a power bump, power dome, something, you know what I mean? So now going on to the side profile of the car. These are some big wheels that they have on this render. They kind of look like the CS wheels, just bigger. These looks like maybe 21s they have on their render. Some really big wheels. I can see them putting 21s on the car. You look at like the RS6, I think the RS7, they have 21s. I think you even get 22s on those. So I can see them, and this is a bigger car, so I can see them putting bigger wheels on it. The current gen has 20s. I can see them doing a 21-inch wheel on a newer platform. So a lot of you guys don't like to hear that, but I can see them definitely doing that. One thing that did stick out to me about the side profile is, at least on their render, they did the same thing BMW did with the M3. They did it with this M5. And what I mean is in the rear 3/4. So they wouldn't have to change the door, and they wanted to keep the wider profile. They gave it the hips. And if they did do this, I think it would be a big win for the M5. Because a lot of people talk about the M3 because of the hips. They're always talking about the hips. And I think if they actually did that with the M5 and gave the M5 some hips, it would, like, I think a lot more people would really like the design language on the M5, and it would help differentiate it from the lower M cars, the lower BMW 5 Series cars, because that's one of the problems too. A lot of people have about the current gen M5s is that it doesn't look much different from an M550. Like the enthusiasts, we know, but the regular person driving on the street does not know unless they see like the tailpipes or something like that, where they just know. It's gonna be hard to differentiate it between an M550. Or even a 540 with the M Sport package. So I think if they did something like that with the hips, and then they have like the little rear quarter slats, rear quarter vents in the back, just things like that would definitely help differentiate it. Take some of that design language over from the G80, and then just infuse it into the not F90, but infuse it into the G90. I think that would be a win. That would give the M5 a lot more aggression that I think it actually needs. Going on to the rear, the diffuser looks fine. I think, there'll be aftermarket ones And then it'll probably be in carbon, and they'll probably offer it in gloss black and carbon like they always do. I think it looks good. You know, quad tailpipe, so that's good. At least we still get real exhaust, unlike you know, AMG and RS. They give you like a little, they give you a bumper cut out, and then they have like a little pipe sticking in the middle. So at least we still are getting real exhaust over here with BMW. Tail lights, you know, I'm kind of always okay with tail lights. They are what they are. You know, I do think these, I guess these look a little more futuristic. I mean, they're fine. Am I like excited about it, giddy about it? No, not really, but I think the tail lights are fine. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, tail lights, I'm always kind of like, oh, okay, tail lights, cool. Like, tail lights don't really do a whole lot for me anyway on any car, so yeah, I mean, they're fine. I mean, they're LEDs, they look bright, they'll do the job, so I'm good with that. They got a little trunk lip spoiler on it that looks, you know, simple, so nothing too crazy there. Yeah, the rear end does look good though, especially with the little side rear bumper vents that they added. That adds to the bulkiness of the rear end. If they were to do something like that with the M5, I think it would be good. All right, so one thing that they talked about in the car was the powertrain. So we all know it's going to be all-wheel drive. We all know it's going to have the MX drive system, so you'll be able to disable and go either from between four-wheel drive, sport, and rear-wheel drive. But what about the engine? So it's probably going to be the same engine that we're seeing in the brand new X5M, X6M, which is the S68, I believe. And then horsepower, I can see it being, you know, I can see like the base M5 being the same thing as the XM, which I think is around like 650, 660, somewhere in that range. And then the competition being like kind of like the red sport or that red line XM that they have, which is like 735, 740 almost. I can see them giving the M5 a little bit more horsepower. But what they'll probably do, knowing BMW, is they'll probably rate it around the same as the XM, but that we all know BMW underrates the engines. The power that it actually puts down on the street and the power that it's actually outputting will probably be a little bit more than those other cars. I can definitely see BMW doing that, rating it around like 700, but it's really putting like 710 at the wheels or something like that, something crazy. Because one thing they're gonna have to do is make this car faster than the F90, and I think carwow touched on it too. You know, this car, when they adding the hybrid technology in it, it's gonna be a little heavier than what we already have. So the only way to make a heavier car faster is to throw more power out of it, unless you're gonna make the body or the suspension or something in the frame a lot less weight to compensate. Other than that, you're gonna have to throw more power out of it. So throw more power at it. So I'm looking that I think the M5 needs to have right at 700. To be honest with you, we didn't get a big power jump when we went from the F10 to the F90. We just got that all-wheel drive and the driver dynamic really big bump on the car. But I think this generation, especially with the hybrid technology, we're gonna need to at least see 700 horsepower for everyone to be happy. That's just my take on it. It has to be 700. I mean, I even would go with 700 for a base M5, and then a competition be like 720, 730, 740. I think that's the only way that this car is going to be able to outperform the current gen F90. Current gen F90 is a fast car, stock, straight out the box. So I think they're going to have to throw a lot more power out of it. Hopefully they give us beefier rods so we can actually draw the power out of this power plant. I know Burger Tuning JB4 was messing around with the XM, and they were able to get, I think, a little over 800 on race gas with just JB4 at the wheels. So, I mean, imagine 800. I mean, granted, I don't know how much testing they did. They just showed the dyno. I'll be posting it up so you guys can see. They just showed the dyno and everything else that was going on there. But I'm not sure. No one knows about the rods, because the weak point of the S63 right now, S63 can make that much power too. You can make 800 at the wheels. The engine, stock, turbo, everything can do that power. The problem is it'll probably only do it for 3 to 4 pulls, and then boom. You know what I mean? And that boom is due to the rods. Rods bending, timing, everything's thrown off. Something, your block is done. So another thing that carwow talked about, and I think a lot of people saw it online too, BMW did say they're making a touring version, so we're gonna get an M5 wagon finally. That's gonna be dope. It's also gonna be very expensive, but it's gonna be dope. I think pricing should be, I mean, BMW's always seems to be a little cheaper than what the Audis run and what the AMGs run typically. So hopefully that pricing stays, you know, kind of like that. Kind of the new R6s can get pretty expensive. So hopefully BMW keeps these a little cheaper than those. M5 Touring, if it came to the United States and I have the ability to get one, I would get one, definitely. I don't know if my pockets would like it, but I would definitely love one. You know what I mean? Think about an 800 horsepower wagon running around, beating up on everybody. That would be kind of crazy, right? So, I mean, the M5 Touring, just even in the renders and what they showed online, looks like it's going to be dope. I think it's going to definitely give BM. I mean, let's be honest. The M3 Touring was already beating the RS6 in drag races and pools. Carwow did a video on that, so the M5 is just gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be a monster, man. So I can't wait to see what BMW does with it. I know a lot of people don't like the new BMW design language. I'm trying to give it a chance, to be honest. I'm trying to give it a chance. I want to wait and play. I'm doing a wait and see. You know, thinking about, okay, I'm never gonna keep my BMW stock, so I'm always looking at what mods would look good with this, what mods would look good with that. That's just the way I look at it, because I would never keep a car stock. So I don't never look at a stock car and be like, oh, that's it, it's ugly. I look at what's the potential. So that's just the way I view it. All right, everyone. So what are your thoughts on the brand new G90 M5 renders? I think this is going to be an awesome car. I think this is going to be a very capable platform, and if it looks anything like the carwow renders, I think it's going to be awesome. The carwow renders do look good. I mean, I was like, man, granted, the carwow renders are showing the wheels being spaced out, lowered. We all know the car is not going to come that stanced out. I mean, it's going to be probably similar, but BMW likes to always track their wheels a little bit inside the fender, and they don't like to give us something that's that aggressive. We'll see. But I like it. We'll see what happens, man. We'll definitely stay tuned and see what happens. And I know the interior is going to be fire, because BMW's been doing great with all the interiors outside of, I mean, I'm not even too mad at the XM interior. It's just not for me, but it's not terrible. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you know, I think it's going to be an awesome car. Can't wait to see what BMW's going to do to it. So those are my thoughts. Please like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. What are your thoughts on the G90 M5? What would you like to see? Put it in the comments down below. Let's have a conversation, all right? So, again, that's my video. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace.